welcome to day 5 of the Hormone Health Week Challenge. This is the final day and probably going to be one of my favorites because we are talking about syncing with our menstrual cycle, which is something that I've been doing for the last few years and just something that I love to share about as well. So today I've got Rochelle, who is a certified nutrition coach and the founder of Seed Cycle Blend, not to mention a huge advocate for female health equity and education. Rochelle has been working with doctors, naturopaths, and nutritionists to develop the ready-to-use seed cycling blends. She believes when we enable females to live in sync with their physiology, this has a positive impact on our entire society. Welcome, Rochelle.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. So I wanted to start off with asking about your own journey because I know that that's the reason why you created the Seed Cycle brand.
Yeah, so I used to struggle with PMS, mood swings, excruciating pain every month, and I hated my cycle. My period was one of those things that I dreaded every month that it arrived. And I've always been quite curious, even though I was told growing up by lots of people that this is just part of being a female and having a period and having a cycle. I've always been a bit curious and I want to know, why am I getting these symptoms? And that basically led me on my journey to discover the root cause of my symptoms. And I was just desperate to stop feeling like a monster before my period, basically. Anyone around me, it's like, watch out. So yeah, that's when I went on a bit of a mission. And the other thing as well that I wanted to note is when you're suffering and you've got these symptoms and you're in pain, you miss out on things. I missed out on special occasions that I couldn't go to. I missed out on making money because if I didn't have sick leave, that's just my time, that I need to take up. And I think we don't think about that enough, how much it can actually hold us back from our lives. So that really fueled me to make a change as well. So I'm a graphic designer and a certified nutrition coach because natural medicine has always been such a passion of mine. So that's why I created Seed Cycle Blend, is basically because I wanted to solve this issue. And the way that I found Seed Cycle Blend is I had tried a whole lot of, seed cycling, found seed cycling, the protocol is I tried so many natural solutions and devices, and all of these options appeal to removing the pain in that moment, pain relief, as opposed to really healing the root cause of the symptoms. On my journey of studying nutrition, I found a book called Cooking for Hormone Balance, and it was in that book that I found the seed cycling protocol. And I tried it for a few months, and because I had nothing to lose, hopefully some symptoms. And sure enough, that first cycle, I didn't have any breast tenderness. And I was like, okay. I kept going, and next cycle, no pain. And I was just like, I'm free. I'm free of this pain. And sure enough, I kept testing it month after month of seed cycling, no more pain. So it was just life-changing for me in that moment. And as a graphic designer, I was able to design the brand and come up with a product, all certified organic, and make it available to help more women experience easier cycles and even love their cycle. So yeah, that was how I created Seed Cycle Blend and my own journey.
I love that story because I feel like that can resonate with so many women, and especially like for my own journey, I was on the pill since I was 15, so pretty much majority of my life. And then when coming off the pill, I wanted to find information of what am I going to feel like, first of all, coming off the pill, but then what are some of the symptoms I'm going to get and how can I alleviate some of these symptoms, like the really bad period, like the terrible PMS beforehand. And that's when I started to read up about all of these things that we can do as women to really nourish our own menstrual cycles and to get our hormones into a state where we just feel good. Because a lot of the research out there is actually based on men's bodies and that they've got the 24-hour sort of clock, whereas us as women, because our hormones throughout our menstrual cycle, it's actually, the month-long clock. So it's crazy that even if you talk to doctors and stuff, they haven't sort of been given this knowledge or this education about how can we treat women in a natural and holistic way through nutrition, through, low impact exercises and aromatherapy, which is what I'm sharing, which is just,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah, you're
wild.
absolutely right. It is wild. And I'm in the mindset of, we can get upset and frustrated that this
Mm.
is how a lot of society is structured on the male hormone cycle, essentially like the sun and the woman and females are like the moon. Um,
Yes.
and we can get frustrated by it, but and things like the inequality of sports science research, as you mentioned, only 6% was done on women in 2020, and that's pretty recent. So there is still
Wow.
such a huge gap of information that we need to fill with properly funded data and research for females, and that's starting to happen, which is promising. Only I think it's just this year actually that they're making female care mandatory for doctors in the UK only. I'm
Good.
not sure if that's in other countries, but so we're starting to see a movement, and I like to focus on the solutions, getting the
Mm.
research, inviting males to join us on the journey of um, integrating these things like cycle syncing into the workplace, into areas that have been really dominated by the male system. So
Yep.
that's really what I'm excited about, is that we are able to go into workplaces and talk about things like menopause and menstrual
Mm.
cycles and hormones to males and females. So I'm super
Yep.
excited that this is happening, and I'm so glad that I can be one of the solutions for menstrual symptoms, for example.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Yeah, especially being part of it. It's such a movement, even though it shouldn't be a movement. It should be something that we're all aware of.
I know it
Yes.
should just be normal, right? But to have some real sustainable change, sometimes there needs to be a bit of a moment,
Yeah.
So this is our moment, and it's pretty exciting to be part of it.
Exactly, exactly. So, in terms of seed cycling, can you explain a bit more why there's certain seeds that are supposed to be eaten through different phases of the menstrual cycle, and just a bit more of sort of that science and education behind it?
Yeah, absolutely. So seed cycling is a naturopathic protocol. I'd say it's also Ayurvedic medicine because it's a food is medicine approach. What you're doing is you are taking the seeds in a therapeutic dose, which means, a higher dose of seeds to cause a therapeutic effect on the body. So from the first day of your cycle until ovulation. For first day of your cycle is your period until ovulation. You will be taking ground pumpkin seed and flax seed. And the nutrients in these seeds, the main nutrients across all of the ingredients, I'll get back to that. I'll just explain the rotating part first. So at ovulation, you then switch to sesame seed and sunflower seed, and you're taking 2 tablespoons of these ground blends every day with your breakfast smoothie, sometimes in water. It's really flexible because it's a whole food, and it sometimes adds some nice flavor to things as well. We've got a whole lot of great recipes on our website to help you with that. But you're rotating these specific seeds in fluctuation with your cycle. So, period day one until ovulation, which is your follicular phase, your full follicular phase. And then from ovulation until your period again, which is our luteal phase. And we obviously have different needs in these phases because our hormones are fluctuating. And the seeds, I'll get to the nutrients now, in the seeds, the key ingredient is lignans. So lignans is a nutrient that basically you have the cell and you have a little receptor on the cell. Lignans, the nutrient, goes into and plugs into the receptor on the surface of the cell and basically checks if you have too much estrogen or too little, and it will either block or stimulate estrogen production, which is just amazing. So lignans are an incredible part of the seed cycling protocol because they just help to gently regulate your levels of estrogen and detox the estrogen as well. So there's a nutrient basically attaches to excess estrogen, which can be a problem for a lot of us, and help to flush it out of the body. So it will kind of bind onto the estrogen and flush it out, which is just amazing hormonally. And then we have the essential fatty acids, which are crucial for producing all steroid hormones. It's literally the foundation, really. If you don't have fats, our hormones will kind of shrivel up. So it's really important to get those essential fatty acids. And when you're getting those through the seed oils, not in the processed sense, not for processed seed oils, but the oils that are coming from the ground seeds, these essential fatty acids are just crucial for producing our sex hormones in our cycle. And then the third nutrient, or kind of thing that you're going to get out of it, is vitamins and minerals. So we can be heavily depleted in minerals like zinc, magnesium, and you're getting a whole food dose of these minerals in a very gentle way to help regulate your nutrient levels. There's a whole lot of other things that come into seed cycling on a kind of scientific level, and we're really excited about the new research coming out on it. Last year, there was a clinical trial of seed cycling against a pharmaceutical drug, metformin, as an adjacent treatment for PCOS, and seed cycling outperformed the pharmaceutical drug. So it's starting to come out as an incredible protocol for many different menstrual conditions. And yeah, we're different all throughout the month, and we have different nutritional needs, and seed cycling can be a really gentle but super powerful way of being able to support those changes throughout the month.
And that research just goes to show as well that food is medicine.
Food's medicine, and especially whole foods, supplements are great when you are heavily depleted in certain supplements or nutrients that you're not getting from your food. But if you can take a whole food approach, the body recognizes the whole food, and when it gets into your gut, it can just it knows where all the parts go and how to absorb it. And when we have artificial, processed, or synthetic foods, the body will cause an inflammatory response, which can cause some of the issues that we see in menstrual cycles as well. So whole foods all the way, if you can.
Definitely. So for anyone that is sort of starting to look at their menstrual cycle and get into really nourishing their cycle, what's maybe something that you think that they should start doing alongside the seed cycling?
First of all is tracking your cycle. I think that's a really important kind of underrated place to start, where if you can try and do the symptothermal method, which is taking your temperature each morning and tracking it with an app like Kindara, which is really good. There's a whole lot of other apps out there, but this will give you a report card on where you actually are in your cycle and when you ovulate, because everyone ovulates at different times of the cycle as well. So tracking your cycle is the place that I always recommend people start. Seed cycling, obviously, once you've got that cycle tracking and that body kind of literacy, getting that seed cycling protocol into your daily habit, and then just understanding, learning more about what's needed in these different phases of the cycle. Like your menstrual phase, you're losing a lot of iron, and therefore, and in the blood, a lot of water, because most of that menstrual blood is water. And so therefore you're going to be more dehydrated at that time of your cycle. So enhancing your mineral rich water, even just sprinkling some salt in water if you can't get full mineral water, replenishing electrolytes, for example. Follicular phase, we crave, fresh, balanced, bright foods. Ovulatory phase, we crave more proteins and healthy fats and antioxidants, for example. And the luteal phase, we want to kind of boost our energy stores and our iron stores by having more iron-rich foods and sweeter foods, that naturally sweeter foods, obviously, like fruit, so we can build our energy stores to be able to cope with the menstrual phase that's after it. So there's so much to learn, and I encourage people to dive into, learning about it and understanding it. But I would start with tracking the cycle and then diving into the education of what we need at those different phases along with that seed cycling protocol.
Thank you so much for sharing your story today and explaining how seed cycling works, because that's definitely something that I've wanted to know about as well. Like, I've been, in terms of how I eat, I cycle sync my food, but I haven't incorporated the seeds yet. So it's definitely something that I'm interested in, especially after that conversation. So where can people come find you, Rochelle?
So we are online and we ship internationally all around the world. Free shipping forever, which is great because we have a subscription option where you can just get it delivered every month. It's super easy. You can change your dates depending on where you are in your cycle. We want it to be super flexible, and you can cancel anytime as well. I don't want to lock anyone in. But the subscription, I would say, is the most important product or most effective product, just because it's so regular. But we also have a one-time purchase if you want to kind of test it out and see how it goes. So yeah, all online. We're on Instagram as well. I chat to our community on there when I'm in the mood, usually not menstrual phases sometimes. But yeah, you can find us on Instagram and our website to get Seed Cycle Blend for yourself.
And we'll pop all your details below as well, so people can come find you. But thank you so much, Rochelle, for taking us through that today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
I really loved that interview because I have heard about seed cycle syncing, but I haven't incorporated it yet into my routine, but I will be now after this week. And it was really cool just to hear that science backing that Rochelle spoke about in regards to the nutrition and just how those seeds work with our body. I think that's really, really cool. And so what I want to take you through for the rest of the video is sort of syncing with your menstrual cycle. So we've got that seed cycling aspect, but I want to quickly chat to you about nutrition syncing with your menstrual cycle. And this is particular from a book that I read a few years ago called In the Flow, which changed my life. And so that talks about syncing nutrition with your menstrual cycle and why we should be doing that. The reason why you want to be cycle syncing your food is because you want to be giving your body the nutrients it needs throughout the different cycles. So a lot of research is based off men's bodies, and they have a 24-hour circadian rhythm clock because each day their hormones go through exactly the same. But because of our menstrual cycle, our clock is actually 28 days, or however long your cycle is. So we need different nutrients depending on where our body is throughout those phases. And once you're giving your body the nutrients it needs, you'll find that you have less painful periods and your PMS symptoms will decrease, and you'll find that your body is very much in harmony and balance throughout the whole cycle. When we look at cycle syncing nutrition with our menstrual cycle, it's worth looking back at what our hormones are doing and what are the different phases that our body goes through. So our menstrual phase, that's when we have our period. So this is referred to as like the inner winter. So your body is losing blood because you've got your period, and so you need iron-rich food to replenish that blood and those nutrients and minerals that you're losing throughout that phase. Then when we look at the follicular phase, which is referred to as your inner spring, you'll notice because your hormone levels are starting to rise that your energy is also rising. So you want to look at phytoestrogenic foods like flax seeds, soybeans, lentils, that sort of thing, to just regulate those rise in estrogen levels as you're heading towards ovulation. You also want to focus on the microbiome as well in your gut and really supporting that, because there's a huge correlation between gut health and the health of your ovulation phase and your reproductive health as well. The ovulation phase is then referred to as your inner summer. So you'll find that that's referred to that because it's like the best time as part of your overall menstrual cycle. You'll be feeling really good. So you really want to be nourishing your body with omega-3s, which will help with the ovulation phase. And your body temperature will also increase as well. So focusing on raw foods, such as like spinach, tomatoes, raspberries, that sort of thing, will also have a cooling effect on the body during that time. Then your luteal phase is considered your inner autumn. So you're like sort of getting ready for like hibernation when your period arrives. And most people will find that they start to get hungrier during this stage, particularly the second half of the luteal phase.
And so you want to focus on adding complex carbohydrates into your diet. So brown rice, sweet potato, that sort of thing, because that will help stabilize both serotonin and dopamine levels that drop because of the estrogen and progesterone dropping before your period. I wanted to quickly show you my kitchen cupboard. So I created this little easy to use cycle syncing booklet, which has all of the different foods which are focused for the different phases. And then I created these little buckets in my kitchen that are focused on those particular foods. So I've got sort of all the grains and the nuts and things that are for those particular phases. And it's been super easy to just open the cupboard and know what foods I should be focusing on during that phase.
And something that I've also been working on, and something that you've probably seen on my Instagram, is my ebook about cycle syncing with aromatherapy. So this is something that I've been working on and been using throughout my own journey. And so what I've done is I've chosen 12 targeted essential oils, which are perfect to use throughout the menstrual cycle. Yes, all essential oils are great throughout the cycle, but again, I want to make aromatherapy easy for people. And these 12 essential oils are really targeted for particular characteristics, both mentally and physically during your menstrual cycle. So I want to take you through that as well, and what my routine looks like with aromatherapy.
My How to Sync Your Menstrual Cycle with Aromatherapy ebook, it goes through each of the menstrual cycle phases, because to be able to incorporate syncing, you need to have a really good understanding of each of the menstrual cycle phases. So it goes through those hormones that we've been talking about during this video, but it also points out what physical and emotional characteristics are associated with each phase and what you kind of feel during each of those phases as well. The ebook then also goes through the 12 targeted essential oils and what they're good for, and why I've purposely chosen these 12 essential oils to use throughout the menstrual cycle. So as I've been saying, I want to make aromatherapy super easy, and these 12 particular oils are amazing, intertwined through different stages of your cycle, and they can be used in so many different ways to help alleviate common symptoms, but to also just bring your mood and your hormones back to level. The ebook is then divided into the different phases, and it takes you through in detail what to expect throughout those different phases, things that you can include in your routine, so like self-care and lifestyle factors that you can include to really just nourish yourself, both mind and body, during those phases. It then dives into a protocol for each of those different phases and what that can look like each day. So this is an example of the menstrual phase protocol. So we've got both the maintenance and the expert protocol. So the maintenance is just kind of your basic aromatherapy aspects to just support you throughout that phase. And then the expert is additional support that you might need. I want to make this super easy of how you can use aromatherapy each day, and this gives that to you. The ebook, of course, then includes all of the diffuser blends and the product recipes as well that are listed in the protocols, how to make them, and just how easy that is to do.
So I really hope that you've enjoyed this week, and that we've been able to give you all of the tools and insights and knowledge that you need to go on your own hormonal health journey. I wanted to make this week quite simple, and that with lifestyle factors and aromatherapy, that you can make these changes within your daily routine to really just care for yourself and care for your hormonal health. And I didn't want to talk about supplements or anything crazy like that. These are purely lifestyle factors that you can start doing now and start focusing on, which will really, really make a difference. So as you know, I'm a clinical aromatherapist, and I love to just find ways to incorporate aromatherapy into not only my lifestyle, but yours as well, and make it simplified. So I am starting to offer one-on-one coaching as well. So if you've got specific health concerns, or specific illnesses, or anything that's really just niggling away at you that you want to get some one-on-one support with, please reach out to me. Check out my website or DM me on Instagram, just so we can have an initial chat of what your health goals are. So thank you so much for being on this challenge week with me, and I'll chat to you soon.